Let's welcome aboard Shikhar Agarwal, Chairman at BLS E-Services and Joint Managing Director at BLS International. Welcome to the show, Shikhar. My first question to you is, great quarter for you overall for Q1 FY25. I want to understand as to, how the quarter has gone by as per your expectations, and what does FY25 look like to you?
Yes. So as you know, this quarter we did a revenue of 492 crores on a consolidated basis, which was a growth of around 30% compared to similar quarter last year. And if you see at a EBITDA and PAT level, we did a EBITDA of around 133 crores, which is a 70% increase. And even at a PAT level, we did a PAT of 120 crores, 70% increase compared to similar quarter last year. So definitely, the growth has been in line with our internal expectations. Our volume also grew 18% in terms of visa volumes. We did around 8.5 lakh applications compared to 7.2 lakh applications that we did in first quarter last year. Also, if you see our EBITDA margins, the percentage, now we stand at an EBITDA margin of 27% compared to 21% that we did in the last quarter, Q4 of last year. So definitely there has been growth on all fronts, all aspects. And this does not contain the numbers of the new acquisitions that we have just announced. That numbers will start coming in from the second quarter.
Got it. And Shikhar, can you help me break down segment-wise as to how your revenue has been and revenue has grown?
So yeah, if you see the segment-wise, visa outsourcing, the revenue now stands at 414 crores. In first quarter last year, it was 304 crores. So we grew 36%, in the visa business. The revenue in the e-service business is quite similar, but the EBITDA also in the e-service business has grown 30%, which is at 12 crores now compared to 9 crore earlier. The revenue, in fact, we had good growth coming in from BC and e-service, assisted e-service business in the e-governance digital business. That's why we've seen a 30% growth in EBITDA even in that business.
Got it. And Shikhar, the kind of growth that you've seen in this particular quarter, do you think that this will sustain overall in FY25 throughout?
Yeah, definitely the numbers that we've achieved in this first quarter, we did a 30% growth compared to first quarter last year. I think this is the new base, and we think that we can maintain that. Even that, iDATA acquisition, the numbers, iDATA did a top line of 300 crores and an EBITDA of 144 crore last calendar year. The numbers will start adding from the second quarter. In e-service also, we announced acquisition of Aadifidelis loan solution. Those numbers should also start adding. And we expect a few new contracts to start in the coming quarters, that we've already won. And we expect multiple tenders that we are bidding for. So all the numbers that we've achieved will be maintaining. And even at the EBITDA percentage level, the margins, we expect further improvement in the coming quarters.
Got it. And if you can help me quantify that margin improvement, please.
See, if we were at a 15-16% EBITDA margin level 2 years back, last year we reached a margin of 21%. There was a 6% increase, 650 basis point. And this year also, now we are at 27% in the first quarter EBITDA margin level. So definitely whatever has been achieved is the new base. And we wish to maintain that, and we are constantly think of ways to increase both the revenue and margins of the company. And I feel that there could be a further upside in the margin levels of the company.
Got it. And Shikhar, in March, like FY24 ending, March ending, you did a revenue of roughly 1,670 crores, right? And you've already done a revenue of 493 crores, which is more than 1/3 of your FY24 revenues. So if you can give a context as to where this number will be at the end of FY25 in terms of top line as well as bottom line.
See, if you see our 4-year trajectory at EBITDA level, we have done 92% CAGR growth. At 4 years, if you see the numbers, this quarter the revenue that we achieved is in fact, and the profitability is more than of our full financial year FY21 numbers. So FY21 we did less revenue in the full financial year than we just did in this first quarter. So there has been a 30% increase in revenue compared to similar quarter last year and a 70% growth in EBITDA level. So definitely we want to maintain similar level of growth, and these acquisitions will be added further. There will be further tenders that we are bidding for, where we feel that we can win some market share. So we feel next few years, we want to maintain the trajectory of the growth.
Got it. And, from a viewer perspective, I want to understand that, you're transitioning from a partner-run model to a self-managed model. I want to get more perspective on this one thing. And overall, how will this impact your numbers?
See, when we started the company initially, because of operational reasons in certain geographies in Latin America, we were operating with certain local partners. So we, as the company grew in the last 2 quarters, we have transitioned to our 100% owned entities, where 100% of the profit is going to be retained by us. In certain geographies like Middle East, in Saudi Arabia particularly, wherein there was a law where you had to operate with a local partner before, we transitioned and now are operating 100% owned entity. So definitely there has the 100% profit is being retained by us. So that was the business transformation that we did. And going forward also, there are still certain other countries that we've identified that we want to transition to our own model, wherein we will see an increase in profitability of those territories. Having said that, there are multiple business development opportunities. If you see, our visa volume has grown by 18%. This is partly due to the new contracts that we have deployed. Further increase in visa volumes is expected. So, we see increase in revenue per application from our existing contracts as well as increase in visa volumes. So that is why we see growth on all the fronts of the company.
Got it. And Shikhar, BLS e-Services is now a separate listed entity. I want to understand that what is the progress that we are seeing there, and what is the kind of revenue growth overall and bottom line growth that you're expecting from BLS e-Services?
BLS e-Services is performing phenomenally well. We grew 30%. Now we did an EBIT of around 12 crores compared to similar quarter last year where we did an EBIT of 9 crores. And we have also announced this acquisition, which is supposed to be completed shortly. So that company, does a revenue of around 500 crores and a bottom line of around 30 crores. So those numbers will also start getting added to our books, and we will use our 1 lakh touch points across India, to increase the profitability of BLS, that company. And if you see BLS e-Services, we did 20,000 crore worth of transactions in this quarter and 3.5 crore transactions. We've also added a lot of private sector banks. Last year, the full year we helped dispersion of 602 crores of loans. And first quarter itself, we have done 1,000 crore worth of assisted loans that we have dispersed. So we see major growth in BLS e-Services as well.
Got it. And Shikhar, for BLS International, I was going through your investor presentation, and as compared to FY22, your cash position has grown by 59%, and similarly, cash from operations has grown by 99%. And you're sitting at the end of FY24, you're sitting on a cash of roughly 1,100 crores. So I want to understand that how are you going to channelize the cash that you're already sitting on, because that's a huge amount.
Correct. So see, majority of the cash has been utilized now for the acquisition of iData. This other acquisition, Aadifidelis, will also entail the utilization of certain cash. So I think most of them will be utilized, already has been paid off. So now the cash position is obviously less, but in the next few quarters, next few years, we expect good amount of cash to be generated in the books. And we are constantly looking at more opportunities for deploying that cash for the best shareholder return, including constant dividend policy that we've been following, in further acquisitions, in deploying this cash in technology, deploying an increase in geographical presence across the world.
Got it. And any particular acquisitions that you're already in conversation with, one thing, and what areas will these acquisitions be on? Will it be on the side of BLS e-Services, or will it be towards visa and consular services more? I mean, will it be digital or something else?
See, the reason why we listed BLS e-Services was that we want to utilize the growth in each company, the cash profit generated in the growth of that particular company. We are looking at acquisitions in both these entities, both in BLS International, in related fields of visa outsourcing services, and in BLS e-Services as well, assisted e-Services, BC services, and e-governance as well. So we are constantly looking at different opportunities where we can generate good shareholder value, good return on our investment, and economies of scale can increase the profitability of those companies.
Right. And overall, you are one of the global players in this particular industry. I want to understand that what are the kind of tailwinds that you're observing in the industry overall in terms of, when it comes to visa distribution services and so on?
See, a tailwind in terms of travel. If you talk about, the number of planes being ordered by airlines, the airports being expanded, the whole infrastructure getting geared up for the future demand. More people are going to travel in the future. They've already started traveling, not only from India outbound, but globally as well. People will need more visas. Governments definitely need trusted support of trusted partners like us to give visas, more visas. So we feel that in the next few years, the travel potential, the outbound tourism from India, the inbound tourism into India, because we also work with a lot of Indian embassies across the world, where foreigners coming into India have also started to increase a lot because of the development of different corridors within India. So we expect the tourism, numbers or visa outsourcing numbers to come to a different level. We will also focus at different kind of government service outsourcing, like citizen services, counselor services outsourcing. More and more locals are moving abroad from across the world. So even counselor services will be in high demand. So that is why we feel that in the next few years, we can reach new highs.
Got it. And Shikhar, any new geographies that you're exploring at present?
We recently, opened up new offices in Latin America and Colombia, Peru. So Latin America is definitely where we are expanding in. In Africa, we opened up offices in newer regions. China, we opened up offices in newer cities. So that is why we feel that in all these territories, Africa, China, Latin America, Europe, we see, and Southeast Asia as well, we see major growth coming in, and we are expanding our reach into newer countries and penetrating more in the existing countries that we are present.
Got it. Well, Shikhar, thank you so much for taking out time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit and giving us those insights on BLS International as well as BLS E-Services.